Hello everyone, welcome to Anna with Plants. My name is Anastasia and thank you for joining me for today's video. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about some very pricey and very pretty Hoyas. There are 9 that I have just been drooling over, and then I have 6 to talk about that I personally wouldn't spend the money on, but that is just my taste preference. And before we dive into the first Hoya, I just want to clarify my version of pricey is a 1 node cutting is going to cost you upwards of over $100. In my opinion, that is expensive. Also, while I am drooling over these Hoyas, this is not a wish list per se. I am just casually admiring them from afar because unless these Hoyas are going to drastically drop in price by the end of the year, these Hoyas are more so in the far, far future I would be interested in purchasing. Oh, and I guarantee you at least one of these you've never heard of before because there are some newer ones that I want to talk about too. Also, if you happen to see me glancing down here, it's because I have my phone. I have pictures of the Hoya that I'm going to talk about. So actually, let me shift a little bit. I am going to make some room so I can pop up the pictures that I'm looking at. So the first one is a Hoya rowena. So this is a hybrid between the Hoya sunrise and the Hoya obovata. And in my opinion, oh my god, she is so pretty, especially this photo that I'm looking at. She's sun stressed. The contrast between the lighter veins and the sun stress, I think it's so stunning. Sorry, I had to answer the door, so I'm not really sure where we were at. Oh yes, Hoya rowena. Again, love the color. I like the shape of the leaves. I used to have a sunrise in my collection and I sun stressed that plant so beautifully. I actually miss it quite a lot. This is one that I saw offered from a seller on Palm Street. Her name is Nayu Plants. I'm sorry if I said that incorrectly. I saw her offer it. I haven't really seen it pop up on the US Hoya market at all, so I don't know if she's the only one that has it or it's just a bit more rare. This picture that I'm showing you cost $425 for that plant, so definitely expensive, but very pretty. Okay, next Hoya I'm going to talk about is the Hoya lorelai. And the Hoya lorelai, first of all, I love that name. I don't know, I really love that name. I feel like it's a pretty uncommon name. This is a mutation off of the EPC 196 Hoya. Haven't heard of that Hoya, but this one has been gaining a lot more traction. It's still a little bit harder, more rare to come by. I've seen plants of this, so again, like a 1 node 2 leaf, maybe I've seen it up to 3 or 4 leaves go for $300. I don't know about the growth habits of this one, so I'm guessing it's on the slower side because of how much silver it has. It's really cute. I love the leaf shape of it as well. It's very oblong and still round, but kind of like chubby round, you know? Super cute Hoya. This is one that I definitely would want in my collection at some point, not anytime soon with those prices. It's a perfect mix between a silver but still a little bit splashy. It kind of toes the line on both of those qualities, and I really love this one. The next Hoya we're going to talk about is an aceh, and you don't know me if you think that I was going to do this video without talking about at least one aceh. They are the chef's kiss of a Hoya, in my opinion. And the exact aceh that I'm going to talk about is called the dragon egg. Now, I'm very particular in what specimen, what specific, I don't know, I guess clone of a dragon egg that I find stunning, because some of the offerings that I've seen sold under Hoya dragon egg just look like any other aceh to me, but the ones that I see and I'm like, oh yeah, that is stunning are the ones that are very jagged at the edges and truly look like a dragon egg, scales almost on the side of the leaf. Again, I'll post up pictures on what I mean. This Hoya is so stunning. Also, I love how the veins, when they go down the Hoya, hopefully you'll see what I mean, how they kind of go down in a heart shaped, like an upside down heart shaped on top of the jaggedy edges. It's just everything that I love in achas. I love good abs, some raised veins. Also, sometimes they have a little bit of splashing, but yeah, I can totally see why this was called a dragon egg. 100% stunning. 10 out of 10. Love that. Next Hoya we're going to talk about is a Hoya sigillatis variegated. Now, there's two types of variegated sigillatis. There is the inner and then the outer. So they're both equally okay, I'm gonna take that back. They're not both equally stunning. I do have a favorite, but basically for this Hoya in particular, when the variegated parts of the leaves will turn this really hot pink color when it comes out, and if you keep it under highlight, it'll keep that pink for longer. If I really had to pick, if a person came up, gun to my head, do you want the sigillatus inner variegated or the outer variegated? I would probably say the inner variegated is more beautiful in my opinion. Don't know if that means it's going to be harder. The inner variegated is very, very beautiful. So is the outer. Also, of all the Hoyas that we're going to be talking about, this one is on the less expensive pricing. Oh, I forgot to mention for the Acha dragon egg, I've seen a cutting, one node cutting unrooted of a dragon egg go for high hundreds to $200 generally. For this one, however, maybe high hundreds for like a good strand, maybe 2 to 3 nodes of an outer variegated. The inner variegated is more expensive. Usually a one node cutting I've seen go for mid to high hundreds. Still a pricey one. Aside from the variegation, you get the splashing and you get that like purpley gray hue that the sigillatus is known for. So there isn't a part of this Hoya that looks bad in my opinion. It would be such a good one to let trail. You can also trellis it on like a cute hoop trellis. I think that would be adorable. Anytime I see a picture of this, I'm just like, wow, that is pretty. The next one I have to talk about has come down in price a little bit when it first hit the market. Thousands of dollars for a one node cutting. It was extremely expensive. It's still very expensive. A one node cutting of this is going to set you back high 200s, $300. I'm so sorry. I have no idea how to say this. The ladia, galaska, I'm sure I butchered that. So sorry. It's such a pretty Hoya. It's gonna look like one Hoya that I'm gonna talk about later in the video that I don't think is worth the money, because this one kind of looks like the other Hoya, but if I had to pick between the two, I would pick this one 100% because it has that watercolor variegation. The green is on the edges, right? And then you get that watercolor splashy. There's a medium green, lighter greens, and then the more that you go in the middle, it's more of a light green color. I also love the texture of this one. If you get this one in a good light where you can see, it has waves across the leaf surface. It's not a completely flat and smooth surface. So on top of looking really stunning, it also has that textural intrigue for me. The shape of the leaf is really cute. It is like a larger leaf Hoya in my opinion. The leaves aren't huge, but they're definitely on the bigger side. And I believe this is also an Acha. It comes from Acha, which again is not a surprise why I like it more than the other Hoya that I'll talk about later. Super expensive Hoya, but anytime I see one, especially if it's like a good cutting of one, it's so good. Okay, next one I also don't really know how to say very well, so it's the Hoya gumpang. My apologies again. And The specific one, because there's a couple coming from this provenance, is AA001. Way more obscure Hoya. I don't see very many people offering this or even showing pictures of this one. I love the shape of the leaves and how the leaves kind of fold in like a book. So down the midrib, both of the leaves kind of start to fold in like that. And I think that's just a characteristic of this Hoya because of all the pictures I'm seeing, it kind of does that same thing. And I'm gonna post up the picture of like the bouquet that I saw, which there's like a lot of leaves on it. That is stunning because you got the veination, you got like light splash, and you got that fold that the leaf is doing, and like a really round leaf shape with like a taper to the edge of it. I don't know what the growth of this one is like. I'm guessing from my experience, it looks like it might be on the slower side of things. I do see a picture of like the back side of this, and it's got that deep purple vein down the center, which makes me think more of like Acha vibes, except this one comes from a different region. Super stunning, very to my taste. So we have one more acha. I promise this is the last acha we're going to talk about. This one is so beautiful. I've only seen a couple photos of this one. It's called the Hoya Acha Rhino, and I'm guessing it's because of that textured appearance to it. It's got a lot of, and it's big. It was a seller on Palm Street I saw, and then I perused to see how much this cutting went for, and it was like mid 200s. So another pricey Hoya for you. So stunning. There's a lot of overlap between the achas, but for me, they're still slightly different that I can justify pining over them. But this one is, yeah, I've only seen a couple pictures of this one, but it's so stunning, so beautiful. Ugh, I love it. And next Hoya we're going to talk about is a really pretty silver one. It's called the Hoya Snowman, which is, and please correct me if I'm wrong, a specific very silvery clone of the Hoya Michele. I've only seen it on Plantita's Dreams. She's a Hoya seller, pretty well known. She has a lot of super stunning Hoya. This is a Hoya Snowman. Ugh, I saw the picture that she has of her plant and I just like jaw was on the floor. It's not full silver, it's still got some green through it, and that's kind of my taste in silver plants. I'm not like a huge fan of a full silver leaf. I like a little bit of green in there. So that's why this one is totally my cup of tea. I don't know how much this one goes for. I'm guessing it's gotta be at least a couple hundred per node, if not more. Hopefully the prices will drop next year because I am definitely interested in this Hoya. Okay, the next Hoya I want to talk about is a caudata, and it is the variegated one. To my knowledge, there's just the inner variegated. I don't think there's like an albo or an outer variegated caudata yet. Yeah, the one that I'm talking about is a variegated caudata. I love my caudata. It's actually back here. It recently put out two blooms. I'll go ahead and pop up a photo. So on top of having super cute furry blooms, the caudata is just such a nice textural Hoya. If you own one, a lot of people own the normal version of this or the caudata Sumatra. Really wavy edges, more like of a hairy Hoya, if I want to say it like that. But I love the variegated version because of how hot pink the leaves are, and I bet if you keep it under highlight, that pink will stay around. I would again want a more variegated version of it. I don't know if they revert or how often they revert. These are also really pricey right now. One node cutting goes for about $200 is my guess. It's stunning. It still has that caudata splash to it where there's like some chunks of splash. I can see this one maybe next year coming down in price because caudatas are generally more consistent growers. This one is just so pretty. This one was a slow burn for me when I first saw it. I was like, oh, okay, they're really trying to make every single Hoya out here variegated. But now that I've seen it more and more, I think it's the hot pink that does it for me. It's a very pretty Hoya. And that is the last Hoya. We talked about 9. Anytime I see pictures of this, I really love to window shop and just admire from afar. Now we're going to get into 6 Hoya that are also considered pricey in my opinion, but I generally wouldn't really spend the money on it. And if I happen to mention a Hoya that you own or that you love and you disagree with me, then that's completely fine. I'm not here to put down any Hoya to my preference. It's not, I wouldn't shell out the money for it. So the first Hoya I'm going to talk about is the Hoya Gray Fairy. And this is going to be a little bit of a controversial one because I know this Hoya is really hot right now. It is a full silver Mathilde. The first time this hit the market, a one node cutting 2 leaf went for mid thousands, to be honest, over $1,000. It was extremely expensive. They have been slowly coming down in price. I think I saw like a one node cutting going for like 450, which is still, in my opinion, way too much money. I don't like it. And the reason why, and I think again, it's just my preference for the silver. I don't like a full silver leaf, like I said before, and these are full silver. It seems to be like a stable clone though, so hopefully these won't revert like the variegated ones have a tendency to do, but it's just okay. I think it kind of looks like a mint coin to me, like a Lacanosa mint coin, but just rounder in the Mathilde shape. I mean, if one were to come my way, I wouldn't be mad at it, but it's not like I'm gonna be shelling out 500 bucks for like a one node cutting. But I know a lot of people really love this Hoya, and I'm sure because of how well Mathildes grow that this time next year they will be a lot more affordable for those people that do want one. The next Hoya we're going to talk about is, I think, a very pretty Hoya, but just because of what type of Hoya it is, I would not want it in my collection. I would not shell out the money for it, and that is the Hoya oblak. Oblak. I hope I'm saying that right. It's basically a Hoya compacta that's variegated. It's albo variegated and it's silver. And the silver seems to be more of like a splotchy. There's like some dark green patches. Again, super pretty Hoya. I'm not saying like this is an ugly one, not by any stretch of the imagination. It is stunning. Also, all of the growth comes in pink, kind of like a normal variegated compacta. Because it's a compacta, it's gonna take your entire lifetime for this Hoya to grow big and beautiful. Yeah, compactas are just such slow growers. I have one compacta in my collection. It's an outer variegated one, and that thing is just slow as molasses. Again, super pretty, but I wouldn't pay the thousands of dollars that a cutting of this is going for. The next Hoya I'm going to talk about is going to ruffle some feathers because I know this is a pretty highly sought after Hoya. It's the Hoya Madara Snow Angel, so it's the counterpart to the green edge. The Snow Angel, to me, looks diseased. It looks like it got the pox. If this Hoya existed during the medieval ages, it would take down the whole village within a week's time. Just, I don't like the splotchy green patches on it. I'm not, it looks like green polka dots, and if you love that, I'm happy for you. I hope you enjoy yours very much. I'm not a fan of the polka dot. I'm not a fan of the polka dot variegation moment, and some of them, depending on which one you're looking at, look really diseased. They don't look quite right to me. Yeah, I can't get on board with that. I think a one note cutting, this is going for maybe like 200 bucks right now. They are slow growers. I know this because I have a Matera green edge. I just don't think that this one's for me, you guys, and I'm gonna have to sit out on this one. This is another hot take, another controversial opinion, because a lot of people really love this Hoya, and I don't knock the look of it necessarily. I think I'm just a bit jaded from my experience of when I had the non-variegated version of this hoya, and this is the Hoya crassipetiolata variegated. Now, I had a normal crassipetiolata splash, and that thing was just like the worst specimen you can imagine. It like aborted growth all the time. It dropped leaves. It just looked so bad. I'm sure it was a weak plant, I don't know, but that just really soured crassipetiolata for me, and I promised myself that I would never buy that Hoya again, and I haven't. Because of that, the variegated version I'm super hesitant on. It looks a lot like the Hoya that I said I loved earlier in the video, which is a Hoya ladia galaska, that one. But unlike that one, the crassipetiolata variegated is just, I don't know. It just doesn't look quite as pretty. It looks comparable. I would much rather have the other one. It does have some texture on it, but it's not like the other one. And I think this one is coming down in price like steadily, but it's still over $100 for a one node cutting. This is like one that I will admire from afar because I'm not saying it's not a pretty Hoya. It is. It's just because it's a Cressy petiolata and I've had the worst luck with them. I'm gonna sit this one out. The next Hoya I want to talk about is the Hoya argentea picta. So instead of the argentea princess, which is the inner variegated, this is the argentea picta, which is the outer variegated. Again, it's going back to my experience with the argentea princess, wasn't really the best one. Mine reverted. Now I have another plant of it, which I will probably cut at some point, and hopefully that one won't revert because I think the genetics is better than the first one I had. But the argentea picta is pretty expensive right now. A cutting of this is going for a couple $100, and I just don't think I like this one more than the inner variegated one, so I just will not spend the money. I get why people like it, but it just isn't really doing it. If you really want an argentea, I would say try your luck at the princess. Hopefully it won't revert on you. I don't know if the argentea picta tends to revert. Yeah, not really sure, but that's just like a Hoya that's pretty underwhelming to me. And then the last one that we're gonna end on is a silver Hoya. It's God, the chiang silver. It looks like the Hoya snowman, like I showed you, because it's got those patches of green throughout it, but it's mostly silver, except the growth pattern or maybe just the leaf shape on this one I don't like. It looks like a Hoya carrii, but just a lot more malformed. And the first time I saw this one, or like the first couple times I saw this one, I thought it was just that cutting, but they kind of all look like that. They just look like the leaves come out very misshapen, and I'm not a fan of the growth pattern for me personally. So that does it on all of the pricey Hoyas that I've been loving and some that I haven't. If you happen to know of any Hoya that I didn't mention that you think I might like, then let me know down in the comments below. Also, if you happen to disagree with me on the Hoyas that I was not loving on in this video, then change my mind. You know, who knows what I'll be feeling in a year's time from now. And also, if you happen to have any of the Hoya that I mentioned and you want to share about your growth experience with it or anything like that, then I would love to hear it. That does it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed and that you have a lovely day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.